live.
Go. Anyways, welcome,
Wow.
Internet. Welcome back to Only Cops, and we are here for another one of our Thursday podcasts, our officer
Wow.
breakdowns, which I really, really like. Bill has, of course, again, tirelessly... Oh, I got audio coming from somewhere. Oh, he has tirelessly worked to cultivate and grow
Okay.
our wonderful little crop of videos and Instagram posts and things of that nature for us to kind of dive into. Most, if not all, of these are law enforcement related. We try to give as much of an objective opinion as we can on these, and most of these things are based on our real life experience as Popo officers.
Popo.
So, if you guys are new, welcome to the channel. Consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you like this stuff, go watch. We got like a buttload of these videos now. We do these weekly. We do go live twice a week. We go on every Tuesday. We do a Let's Play, and every Thursday, like tonight, if you're watching it live, we do a breakdown like this. So without further ado, I will go ahead and hopefully you guys are out of commercial break now because they play commercials now because we've reached 1,000.
That's right.
Anyways, we will
You can skip them though. It's like the 5-second skip. You'll be fine.
So shout out to us being monetized and shout out to our little channel growing. So
That's right.
Billiam, it's all you.
So this one is just for you. This is what I secretly... No, it's not a secret. This is what I dream about doing to you every time you make an admin skit. Every single time. And wow!
It's
I just love it.
It's interesting. We had a recent it was a really cool conversation we had with Chris the Cop. Shout out, go check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of really cool stuff.
He does indeed.
Way cooler cop than we ever were. And he was lieutenant.
Still doing it too.
And he's still doing it, yeah. But he was talking about the process of like becoming admin, and it's kind of he made it sound like he like semi sold his soul to the devil. And it was like weird. Like you get the raise.
Even our good lieutenants didn't shy away from that. Like they kind of told you like once you became a lieutenant, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, son.
Yeah, I will never forget. I had a midnight lieutenant. It was my last 2 years on patrol. And every time we brought, like, I'd call him lieutenant, or like it would like become apparent that he was my lieutenant, I would see like a bit of regret in his eyes. It was like I don't know, it was like the love of his life that got away, and he's like, man, if I could do it all over again, I would have never passed sergeant. Dude.
Well, and he also wanted to be out there with us. Like you could tell that there were nights that he was like, I have to sit at this desk. I just want to go make a traffic stop or something.
Yeah, so the admin skits that I am are the cancerous type, but there's good guys out there. As much as, to be fair, I think they are grossly outnumbered by the bad guys. But
I agree. Because it's too easy. It's too easy to get there and then turn into a shitbag.
Same thing with complacency in law enforcement. It's just complacency at the administrative level is... I guess sterility. I don't know if I could put another word on that, but like basically, you stop becoming a cop, you start becoming an administrator. So we'll keep going.
Yeah. So.
Ready Man Network. That's a new one.
Sometimes they put good stuff up. This isn't. They're not like a law enforcement page. They're just like a. They're like a survival page.
Interesting. Oh, so kind of like a Gray Man thing or whatever. Is that what this Ready Man Network is?
Kind of, yeah. Like they like to post stuff about survival tactics and skills and stuff.
I bet.
So this guy walked up to the door with a box of those like fundraiser candy bars.
Oh, sure.
Watch what happens.
Get out, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And put on the baklava now, I guess, my dude.
What? Yeah. So you can see the person's like already outside dealing with this person.
Sure.
This was in California, of course. But that's how easy it is to get robbed.
Yep.
So.
I don't know, man.
Don't buy candy from strangers, you fat ass.
Yeah, get your candy like I do
Yeah.
from
A
there's
gas
less
station.
there's less dangerous ways to gain weight. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, I will say this: that is how creative and like a lack of give a fuck that the criminal element. I talked about this. That there's like the vast majority of the population. I would say like 98% of the population that like aren't what I would consider like completely unempathetic like monsters, right?
Yeah.
Now there's a good chunk of them that are assholes, but there's a difference in between like cutting someone off in traffic and like forcing someone's door in,
Yeah.
robbing them, you know.
Well, and what an
There's a
awful
big
way to
difference.
do it. Like,
Sure.
this is...
This is betraying that
Yeah.
person's trust for everything now. That person is permanently scarred for life probably.
Yeah.
Because again, you felt like you were doing something good. You took that endorphin dump and then just like ruined it by robbing them on top of that. But anyways, like I said, just be careful out there, boys and girls.
And if you want to be
Realize,
like me and keep a church pew right by your door,
saying
hey,
church pews are good to have around.
you know, if it
Come in
happens,
varieties.
if it happens, I have my old duty church pew right next to my door. So,
my duty church pew.
yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't want to lose that one though.
that's where I got it.
Sad.
So it's in a holster.
Anyways.
It's safe. It's fine.
No, I'm saying lose it as in, if you use it, you lose it. That's how that stuff works.
Oh,
that
well,
would be a sad one.
yeah,
By Bernard.
but my other one is a little nicer. So
That's true. That's true.
yeah.
So, shout out to Police Post again. Go check
Yeah.
them out and give them some love because that's like a third of our videos
At
on
least.
these breakdowns.
At least.
So go ahead and give them some love. Go
And
ahead
they
find them
actually
on-
like put time and effort into their captions. They don't just
Oh yeah.
just post stuff for, no reason. But we can't listen to this one because there's music playing in this car. So looks like
Oh, I remember this one in the
Three-
Discord.
three
Yeah.
cops fighting one guy. Two cops fighting. Oh,
It's like 1.5.
three cops fighting one guy.
It's like 1.5. Now
Oh,
there's one.
and he gets in his car.
Talk about getting absolutely bodied.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh,
shout out to these officers
tased him.
for not getting in the car with him because that would have been dumb.
Bye.
You couldn't have handled him on the ground. You're for sure not going to handle him in a car. But
Is anybody going to chase him? I
um,
guess not.
I will give him getting in the car like an F minus because bro 3v1 like you should be able to handle it. This is every single time I hear about women don't have a place in law enforcement, but you see these dudes like
Well,
people who are not ready to go hands on.
these are the women that they're talking about.
That's what I'm getting.
These
That's
three.
what I'm getting at. Yeah. So. That being said, they get an A++ for realizing that they didn't have control of the situation and just go ahead and let that guy go.
Well, and then another F minus for just standing there while he drives away.
Yeah. Post the car driving off. That's like a super huge. I also didn't see anybody getting on the radio to like.
Yeah, and I mean maybe they're talking. I don't know. We're not gonna lose it over the music. So
yeah, let's let that birdie fly. But this kind of goes into empty hand skills. We talked about this while Michael was here. So he is it BLTE, something like that. Their training that they did in North Carolina, I mean, it's effectively ass, but they got like 0 empty hand training. And I showed him hidden arm technique. And I said, the only thing, I'm not going to say that's useful in jiu-jitsu because having confidence to go hands-on and understand leverage-based techniques is helpful. But hidden arm technique, as a technique that was taught to me in academy, I used at least 4 or 5 times.
yeah,
like IRL, and it was incredibly effective. Kimuras, understanding how to do like a Kimura or like I think it's the Americana is the inverse of that.
Yeah,
incredibly effective. Leverage-based techniques are incredibly effective, whether it's in jiu-jitsu or whatever. But I showed it to him, and he's active duty now, but he's still doing the job now.
Yeah,
and I'm some fat loser civilian now, and he was.
You're
like,
not fat. You're just
I just like sweets. I don't buy my sweets from gangbangers.
You're not so fat that you buy sweets from a door-to-door salesman who looks like he's 25. So.
Brian Porter, get a high point or a church pew, my guy. Shout out to the high point. It might work enough for you to defend your life in that situation.
If I'm going to put a church pew by my door, I want to make sure that it actually does its job.
Sure work, man.
So
you got like a 60% chance of it working every time, right?
Because I mean, I have that Taurus that I bought, but even that,
it is what it is. But either way, what I'm getting at is just showing him that technique. It took me like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
he was like, "I've never been showed this ever. I've never been showed anything that's this effective." And I told him like, "Try to not let me do it." I like almost was going to the point.
Did you guys like wrestle in the bedroom or?
That's exactly where it was at. Actually.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. It was in my living room. Actually.
Oh,
I brought him
on the hardwood floor.
No. I brought a little mat out.
Oh,
like
okay.
An extra large yoga mat. Got to keep it sanitary.
Oh.
So anyway, empty hand. I like having actual empty hand skills is important, and that was an illustration as to why 3v1, even without empty hand skills, you should win. I don't care how motivated that person is.
I mean,
3 of y'all, you should win that.
There was already one dude on the ground wrapped around his legs. Tell me how he stood up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it.
Either way.
This video doesn't have sound, so we're just going to watch it.
Shout out to Police Post again, or otra vez, for the Spanish speakers in the group. My guy.
Yeah.
Why did he run in there, I wonder?
I don't really know.
Are the cops behind him?
They're coming. Up here. There's...
What's EMS?
That's a worker, I think.
Oh. I like EMS for a second.
I think the cops are here. I'm assuming he was running away, and then...
Wow, how wild to get camera footage of this.
Yeah.
Bro, my guy. My guy, what are we doing here? My guy, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to give A+ for energy.
Oh. Not capture everything the deputy sees, and the deputy does not see everything the body camera captures.
Hey, is somebody in there?
Back away!
Dude, you better put that down.
Back away!
We'll back up. Put it down.
Back off of me now! Go! Put your fucking away! You're fucking with me! I'll fucking snap you! Go!
Oof.
Yeah.
Go. Go.
Oof.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense why that went down the way I did.
Are you okay?
He's like, bro, I'm changing out my pants, dude.
He definitely peed himself, just like I would.
The suspect identified
Come on, bro.
age 25 was pronounced deceased.
So I thought at first they didn't shoot at him, and I was like, bro.
Yeah, because there was no sound.
There's no sound, yeah. Then I realized that's why they weren't
a legit
drawn
knife.
down on the guy.
Yeah.
After they were entering, and that's because they had already destroyed. Bro,
domed him.
10 out of 10, my guy.
Good for those
This
guys.
reminds me a lot of that foot chase where that chick got taken hostage.
Yeah.
This was somewhere up north. There was like 40 officers there.
That was LAPD SWAT.
Now that guy's shot was some John Wick level stuff. This guy did a great job. And addressing and understanding what you have. What you have is somebody that's violently threatening the life of another person, and in defense of a third person, you leverage deadly force to secure it as expeditiously as you can. That's what they did. And I know it sounds kind of brutal. Again, I will explain it to the civilian portion of this audience that's never going to be faced with a violent situation. If I had to gamble with my life with somebody that thought it's perfectly okay to come up and pull a knife on my neck, how much force would you allow officers to use to make you safe? I pose the question.
It's true.
As an advocate for somebody that is being victimized by a violent crime, I'd say a lot. And that's really where that comes into. A shout out to those officers for having the skills to do it.
Yeah.
And then to execute it swiftly. And you'll notice that like they all just didn't like hone in on that victim. I mean, they had one of those officers that he knew what his job was. He's like, my job is to take care of this guy. Because what if he needs emergency medicine, right? They didn't know if he had already been stabbed yet. they didn't know anything, and so he zoned in right in on there. He found the work that he was supposed to find. I thought it was great. Like that was shout out.
That's the like highest stress situation you could ever be thrown into.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would end with the smallest of margin of errors.
Yeah.
And then, like, not only was the officer that discharged their gun and went to go secure the guy, but also, like I said, that other officer that would secure the victim at this point.
Yeah.
And he allowed him. It was they figured out what they had, like, stupid fast. Went and ran to the threat or to the problem.
I'm sure they were chasing that guy. Like,
that's my guess. They must have been chasing him or something for them to have already been that close. But it's interesting. I'd be curious to see what the context was for that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Police Post again. Give them some love. Shout out to Axon. This was recent.
Last week.
Hi there, man. Can we just sit down for a second and talk about what's going on? Yeah. Drop the bat. Drop the bat. Drop the bat.
Ooh.
My God.
261, cover now, 1 for 245 on a police officer with a bat. I want to kill you, bro.
Bro, talk about getting handled. Bro, you got a good full swing on an officer with a bat and then just get absolutely handled.
Yeah.
My dad didn't handle me that hard.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish we could see another.
I wish we
could see another view of that because I want to see the officer destroy this guy on the ground.
Bro, like, you're not that guy. Like, I know he was talking trash afterwards, but like, you're not.
They always do.
Jeez,
they always talk trash afterwards.
Shout out, and I'll say this: as much as I am normally team backup and you leverage deadly force, this guy posed a deadly threat to you, and he's very lucky he didn't get knocked out and killed in that instance. But that's a showcase of great empty hand skills. Now, he might have also been caught flat-footed, and I guess he just probably didn't realize that this guy was gonna. You know what I mean? You don't know. This guy could have had like the slowest day ever and be made like Netflix episode. You know, I totally get it, but like a lot of people will, I think, understandably say, "Hey, you should have backed up, or you should have done whatever." And this was a deadly force situation. Why didn't he pull his gun? But if you got a big dick energy and are gonna handle a dude like that, knock it out, man. Like he that's a better outcome than had he, though it would have been justified to go and discharge a weapon at the guy. You're gonna always applaud the officer.
Could you imagine though? Like,
the backstop on that's horrible.
Even backpedaling.
Yeah.
Trying to shoot that guy. Like,
sure. At that point, he knew what he was in. He said, "All right, I'm gonna fight.
Yeah.
Let's get bodied," and he did. He did a great job there. We didn't get to see it, unfortunately. You don't know if he's just a ton bigger than him. And that's
hopefully, since it's so new, some more video will come out. Like, maybe we can get the Walmart video.
Because it would. No kidding. You know they have video on that.
Yeah. It's probably just not. But, it's probably not public yet.
Yeah. Shout out to that guy though.
Yeah. That was good.
Dark Horse, Lionheart. These guys. This is pretty new, right?
Yeah, they're a newish page.
Replacing cops, right?
I think so. Kind of. They don't post as long of footage as like Cops or Live PD, but they are with Phoenix PD, like with them. So, but they put music to this, so we're just gonna watch it.
Mute it. Shout out to whoever's got this like super bright flashlight.
Yeah. I think the helicopter's probably above him. Because that light is way too bright. You know?
Well, then like the exposure on the camera is pretty high. Because it's like a film camera, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, just how much of the area that's lit up, I would almost bet that.
Oh,
like,
I can see the one on the... Yeah, that's got...
See, it's hitting the roof, too.
You're probably right.
They probably had a helicopter up for that, but...
Man, what a wild... Man, this camera dude.
Yeah, they don't give a lot of. They don't give a lot of what happened.
So I will say this: having approached a handful, not with a helicopter because I'm not cool like Bill, but having approached a couple of like pretty hot scenes like this, I'm okay with them walking kind of slow.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of like,
especially those stupid motels like that.
Oh, sure.
Dude.
That being said, I'm typically team like not standing right next to somebody. I get that he's got the rifle, so he's probably the safest person to stand next to.
Well, and there's more cops behind him too.
I agree, and so maybe they have an arrest team in place. Maybe they're trying to figure out what they got.
Yeah.
But they were smart to. I will say this about the little bit that we're seeing here, is to not like a rush into a situation. If they felt the need to have a rifle, it's probably a shooting in progress. These are pretty common.
Something,
You're going to shooting in progress, and there'll be like somebody identified that's either injured.
And they're all unholstered.
Oh yeah. So that's what I'm getting at. But that you're slow to approach, because there was a one of our SWAT guys. He was helping with my in-service class. And he talked about leaving your brass in the hallway. And he's like, hey, if you're going to get in a shooting, do it outside of the fatal funnel.
Yeah.
Not going through it, and not once you get in there. Because once you're in there, nothing like you're basically guaranteed to get shot back. You want to make that as much of a one-way range.
Bro, you want to talk about a fatal funnel? This is like a fatal circle, because all of these doors are probably not going to be nice to you.
And that's the scary. So we did End of Watch recently, and it was one of the scariest things looking back on it. And I was aware of it when I was on patrol, but looking back on it, I was like, dude, there were so many locations.
Yeah.
Where there's
no
safe place. Like there's literally nowhere to be safe. It was like, yep, this is just, you hope nobody decides to be ignorant that day.
Yep.
So
yeah.
We'll keep watching. I'm about it.
So this is just a post. And
the Tatum report. Shout out to this guy's from Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Officer Tatum.
This is exactly why you don't see cops have lunch out in public anymore. Because crap like this happens way too often. So, and this was in Chicago. So, old.
Was this?
This was 2 days ago.
Jesus.
So old.
This happened a lot.
Old big dick Lori Lightfoot can go F herself.
Yeah, dude. 2020, like the end of it,
yeah,
was rife with that.
Yeah.
We didn't sit anywhere that wasn't like an empty ass parking lot that I could see a pretty long distance. I did that before 2020, but post 2020, yeah, dude. Oh, shout out here, dude.
Yeah,
I want to stop because I've seen this already.
You sent it to me.
That's right. Yeah. This is the most badass person on the planet, walking right the fuck now. I put this chick over the Ukrainian president. That's how awesome she is.
Well, we're gonna stay away from that. So, I can think of about 100 people that are better than that guy. So, but yeah, her son. Did you read? There's another one. It might be the picture of it, but her son is actually in the police academy right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, he should be proud of his mama.
Dude, no kidding. I'm fucking proud of her. Not even my mom. Jeez, dude, watching this.
I know. Gives me heartburn.
Jesus, dude. Literally full send. There was zero hesitation in that.
She was almost stopped, so she took all the impact.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So there's the video, and there is the SUV.
So you got to think the way they mount these push bars are like put like directly into the chassis of the vehicle. It is a Tahoe.
They mount it into the frame, in the bottom of the frame.
And I get that you have crumple zones and stuff like that, but your push bumper is not a crumple zone.
Yeah, but the engine had to have come back into the dash.
That's what I'm getting at. Like this was a bad hit. It hit her so hard it even popped her back tires. Even though there's you can also see like how much the body.
Yeah, the roof line is so like.
Dude, Jesus.
That door is closed, but it just got shoved back behind the other door so far.
And every time, and I never apologize for this, you decide to leverage a vehicle as a weapon. This is why they get shot at.
Yeah.
Very lucky to be alive. Very lucky to be alive. And honestly, the lady, I saw a follow-up thing with her. She just went to court recently. I think it was today or yesterday. And she was over there chuckling about not having a car anymore. So fuck them. God bless that lady, dude.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Yeah, she definitely saved like hundreds of lives.
Oh yeah, and like,
Hundreds.
I'm not gonna go off and say that this other lady was some terrorist. She might have just been a drunk dumbass, but like, there's a cost to that in lives and in people getting hurt and stuff like that.
Well, and also, you see the kind of repercussions that drunk drivers get. It's no wonder that people still do it when Uber is totally a thing.
Yeah, there was I think 2 officers in adjacent, like, I mean, touching jurisdictions to ours while we were on law enforcement that got killed by DWIs.
Yep.
So it was I lit a flare every fucking time I was on a highway and made sure that I had whatever, and we canted and wore little vests or whatever, but none of that's gonna fucking help.
Yeah. So, police post training.
Oh yeah.
Effectively the same page.
Shout out to police post training. Give them some love.
So
they're now 85% of our content today. Riding 2, man. My God.
Gun. 406 Army Coast. 415 man with a gun. Foot pursuit. Eastbound Main Street. Approaching Hancock. It's gonna be Sergio Barreto. Gun.
Oh, they know this guy.
Yep.
Drop the gun.
Drop the gun! Drop it, bro! Drop it, bro! Drop the gun,
406, we're gonna be running westbound in the... Officer needs help.
I got it.
Jeez, dude.
All in all, pretty impressive.
So, shout out to these guys for handling that situation. So, when we bitch all the time about radio traffic or bitch all the time about positioning and what you're doing and all that, this is why. Because look at how quickly the shortest of fucking straws are given. We see this specific call. Like, dude, you go back.
Which part?
Just to go back like 10 seconds. Watch him walk across this guy's line of fire and watch this officer does. Fucking animal.
He does it twice. As soon as they turn that other corner, he does it again.
Jeez, dude. What an awesome, like, they get it, dude.
Yeah.
I got a hard on for these 2 guys.
Well, they probably ride together every day, so.
Yeah. That's why muzzle discipline's important. So all of these little things that we're, like, typically get heartburn about, and we're like, oh my God, why are you not getting on the radio? Or, oh my God, why don't you have it back? This is why.
Yeah.
Because when you put all the pieces together, these guys were able to run. Notice they don't get right up on him. They probably could have, because you notice they're like jogging.
They could have. Really They're jogging, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a sprint. That's not a full-out sprint.
Yeah. And they're doing it to get on the radio. They're getting it to observe him, but they realize that distance is what's going to keep him safe. God, dude, the muzzle discipline here is incredible.
He saw that car and dropped it again.
Yeah. And so one of them's getting on the radio and the other one's handling the situation. Like, you notice he's got both hands on.
Getting on the radio calmly.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear what he's saying.
So the other thing I kind of want to point out is, like, frequent flyers are a thing, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there was a group of juveniles on the side of town that I worked, and they were committing like 80% of our burglaries.
Yeah.
And they were like, there was a ton of like stupid stuff, like criminal mischief and stuff like that they were getting into. And after a while, we already knew, and like just like this, you got into a foot chase with them and you knew who it was, or we'd get on the radio and say, "Hey, this call text looks like it's going to be so and so."
Yeah.
And when you're familiar, and especially when your beats are probably as small as these guys are, you know what I mean? You know who you're dealing with. Shout out to them for knowing. I'm glad those guys were able to walk away from that, and that they were better trained and in better shape and better equipped than that loser.
I agree.
But you know what? Don't run from the cops with a gun in your hand, and you're probably going to do okay.
I mean, that's a fair assessment, I think.
Yeah, I think you're going to be okay. So we'll keep going.
So some more survival tactics from Ready Man.
Shout out to Ready Man Network.
So street justice here. Whoop.
Oh my guy. Oh, his leg's done, dude. Yeah. He's Gumby.
Yeah, you can see it's
he's Gumby.
It's like completely broken.
Good luck.
And the dude just drove away.
Well, because he probably didn't want to get shot, you know? He knew what was up.
Yeah. He said,
I tell you
skirt.
what.
But this dude's leg is like...
I have never been so, like, ready and jazzed about a Jeep. What are those? The Jeep, with a compass? What the hell are those little
That's
ones?
kind of what it looks like, yeah.
Batman drove one of these in the
it looks
Batman movie.
Looks like a compass.
Yeah. Batman had one of those, and I think it was Batman v Superman, and it was Ben Affleck. He was ripping through Gotham in one of those things.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out to that guy. It's a bit of big dick energy right there. He saw something shady going down, and he stepped in. Like, more power to you, guy.
Yep.
Thick blue line. That's us now, because we're getting a little... or at least I'm getting a little thicker. Bill's getting nothing but sexier. But...
I'm back on my diet and exercise routine.
Yeah, after the ladder couldn't kill him.
That's right.
That's
right. A ladder tried to kill me. Sucker. Try again. Try harder. It's not a video. I'm just going to leave it up there, and people can read it at their own pace.
I think we just recently did, like I said, we did End of Watch, and there's an opening. It's
very
poem,
similar,
actually.
Yeah.
There's an opening poem to End of Watch, and I think it really ties to the ethos of why people sign up to do law enforcement. And a lot of people talk all the time when they leverage criticisms on law enforcement. Well, you just want it for the power. And I laugh kind of every time I hear it. I was like, you lose your First Amendment.
Yeah, what power are you talking about?
In IA investigations, you lose your Fifth Amendment. In your day-to-day life, you lose a lot of your anonymity, and you're not allowed to... Your name goes on a bunch of affidavits. You end up interacting with the most dangerous people in the place that you work. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you are subjected to more people's power, air quotes, than you necessarily are empowered with it. That being said, you're kind of signing a suicide pact with society that says, I am willing to die for the things that you deem necessary. And a lot of people never really get to that because they see the ticket writing or they see,
the arrest. They
like
arrested that man wrongly.
Sure. Or whatever it is. And again, the fact that they can only come up with a couple hundred videos, the majority of which are being interpreted by ignorance, let's be honest.
A couple hundred out of millions of law enforcement interactions.
Like a lot of them. And so what you're not seeing is like the slow grind against things like gang violence and things like domestic violence, and things like all of that kind of stuff. And so I think a lot of people miss that, and that poem kind of gets it, and that post that we just had on the screen, rewind it and pause it if you want to read it, it gets it. And it's really like, I am the consequence of your poor decisions kind of thing. And society has tasked me as a police officer to do that. And it's the one thing I don't miss the most out of leaving was having to be that burden. That's a heavy burden. Because, again, the price is pretty high. I still currently, I'm recently going through PTSD fits from some of the crap that we had to see and deal with there. It's just different. Kind of like the guy that got robbed, just trying to buy candy, has trust issues.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Bill and I have like negative trust.
I don't trust anyone.
Like our tinfoil hats touch our ceilings.
I'm skeptical of everything.
That's what I'm getting at.
Every single person.
So yeah, it's a little more complicated than a lot of people realize. Shout out to Police Post again. Steady providing content. Give them a follow because we are
steady.
What do we got here? We got a Chad.
A Chad.
What is Chad doing?
What's going on? Whoa. Right there. What's going on? Oh, you told me to keep me. No, I'm not saying. Hey! You're gonna touch it. Hey! You're me up. Show your hand. Show your hand.
Oh, they getting this shit. Oh, y'all look.
Hey!
They're gonna tase that shit.
Get down. No. Keep my back.
Tase that shit.
Got him.
I bet he's high.
Oh yeah.
What are you guys doing?
This is no injustice.
Why are you guys doing this stuff? God damn it, help! Got him now. Please! What is happening?
Oh yeah, he's high.
I hit my mercy button, just so you know.
Gotcha. Hey, get down rehabilitation.
Get down or I'm going to tase you! Get down or I'm gonna frickin' tase you!
His cartridge isn't
Get
even
down
in.
and get tased! I'm gonna tase you!
Do it.
He said do it.
Do
Get
it.
down! Get down now! Get
He
on
owns
the
something.
ground now!
Oh, he
Get
owns
on the
something.
ground now!
Oh, he owns something.
Get off me! Get off me!
Oh, he owns
Stop,
something.
please! Stop what I did!
Maintain top mount. You got it, my guy. Pause it. What is Taser Boy doing here, my guy?
I have no idea because
what is he
the
doing?
cartridge fell out. Like, he didn't tase him.
No. And also, like, threatening to tase once your hands on like that is stupid.
Well, if you're scared of going hands on, I mean,
I'll tell you what, though, my guy here, I don't know what his level of training is, but oh boy, he's got like a decent like mount
on
That
top.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think it's not structured enough for me to believe that this is coming from a place of training.
Well,
But,
since his legs are laid out just like the other guys.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. That's
Definitely
kind of what
not.
I mean. I don't think it's from a place of training, but like shout out for accidental jujitsu here, my guy.
Like jujit. I wouldn't say jujitsu. It's
jujit.
like jujit.
Is that Florida jujit?
It's not really any. There's no hips being used here. It's all body weight.
Don't be Taser guy here. This guy's being a fucking dick.
And then he
He's
said
not
on the radio, he said, "No deployment." Oh, really? I hadn't noticed.
Wow. Anyway.
Stop! Stop! God damn it! Please stop!
Oh my
Bro.
gosh, he is on something.
He's kind of mounted him now. It's getting better.
He's only on his legs. That's the problem. Like he's
Yeah.
not on his hips.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a problem. Yeah, he's laying out on him. It's giving him an out. Bro, what is Meals on Wheels over here doing? My dude, I can't stand. He's gonna try to handcuff him now.
I guess.
Oh my god, I hate him so much. Give him some verbal. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop
That's
fighting.
That's the most you've contributed this whole time.
I'm gonna freaking tase you.
Oh look, he's on him now, kind of. He's kind of pushing.
Yeah, but
him
he
around.
rolled over.
Yeah.
He's
Hey,
back to his back.
Let's control. Let's mount this guy. At least side mount, like side control.
He is
Something.
definitely resisting.
Dude, this
He is
cameraman.
definitely resisting.
Shout out to this cameraman for not being shaky as hell too. Shout out. He's getting the good. Someone can find me this
it's pretty
cameraman. I'll
good.
get him a sticker. This is why you mount something. Pause it real quick. So this is kind of why, and if you can kind of circle right where this guy's knees are, going to this officer's hips here, this is why mounting is super important, and this is why they talk about it a lot in jiu-jitsu, especially, and again, old Meals on Wheels here, Taser Boy on the side here, could just literally lay down and at least have side control. Not that I want to have side control with the guy that can bite me in the
Put
face.
a knee on his hip at least.
Something. What
Like-
I'm getting at here is, this is why, if you're going to mount, and he had plenty of good opportunities to do it, you
Yeah.
get north of those hips, because the worst they can do is try to knee you with like next to no leverage. Here, he can kick, he can push, and the biggest thing, what you're afraid of happening here, we called it turtling, but basically you get on both your hands and knees, and now you can leverage yourself off
Yeah.
the ground. It's very hard to keep somebody once those hips get away from you.
Yeah.
We might do a demonstration of this one day. Sean Cameron, the man works for the prosecutor. You're not wrong, dude. See this here? These are heel strikes waiting to happen. Oh, he's like,
He's up.
oh, break. Oh, that worked that time.
Cuff him.
He just really wanted to use the
Don't
taser.
do it.
I'm gonna tase you again! I'm gonna tase you again! Stay down!
Do it.
Get on the ground, put your hands out now! Get on the ground, put your hands out now!
Pause it. Pause it. This is totally the rookie cop blowing by these guys.
Yeah.
To be fair, there might not be like a partition here, so they might have to go around. But
Maybe.
this is what happens when you tase and don't go hands on after tasing. It's gonna turn into this game again. We'll see.
This dude is a problem.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Because you shouldn't have two police officers on one guy and then say, break, break, break. Like,
Unless he's got a gun
he
or a
doesn't.
knife, which he
No.
clearly doesn't.
Yeah, come
Or
on.
at the very least, this could have been checked while you were, I guess, holding him on the ground.
You're just so desperate to use your taser.
Yeah, so.
4640. Cuff him!
Cuff him under power. Get him under power. Get down
Pause.
now.
Fuck you, dude. No. Fuck you, dude. I don't care if you didn't help that whole time.
He should have been cuffed when they both had hands on him in the very beginning.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah. If you couldn't have done it then, what makes you think you're going to be able to do it under power? Like,
I don't know, dude.
It's whatever. Hopefully this is like a PTO.
Get down now!
Second taser, boy, man. Still fighting.
Oh, no, this guy's the radio.
He's got my bag! He's got my bag! Get out of there! Get away from it! Get away from it!
A magazine's not a problem.
One of the pros is out.
Magazine's not deadly.
God damn it. Stop.
I'm finna help y'all. I'm finna help y'all subdue him.
I get my taser.
Get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground.
Hold this.
I don't want to stop recording.
My guy. Hey, help. Record, my dude. My guy.
Wow.
My guy.
Got one on.
Ooh, he tried to bite him.
Was it?
Oh, he's trying to bite him, dude. No
Bro,
way.
But this guy's like
No
Mortal Kombat
way.
head tilt.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Somebody tried to bite me once.
I had a few people try to bite me. They didn't get the business like yours guy did.
Help me get this cuff on, man.
Help
Why
me.
don't you do it yourself,
Help
dude?
me get this cuff on. You need to quit today.
Right now.
This happened 4 days ago. This video. You should not be a police officer.
So I'm currently.
I'm done with this video.
I'm in my undies, in a t-shirt with socks on, legit. And I could right now walk over to that McDonald's and put handcuffs on that guy.
Help
I mean
me
that.
get
I'm
this
not saying
cuff
that.
on.
I'm not saying that to be shitty. I'm saying that because I've had someone resist like that, and I've gotten them into handcuffs without 15 people helping.
You know why I think
And
that
without-
video just pissed me off so much? Because we worked with 5 of those McDonald's cops.
You know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Hell, we
Help
had one.
me get this cuff
There
on.
was a rookie. She will remain unnamed. This was the cat piss house,
Yeah.
and there's a lady. She's in a chair, old lady. This was for someone that resisted as hard as they did. It's nice because they were 60, so like they can resist 10 out of 10 amount of effort. And you're still not going to struggle to. You're struggling more to not hurt them more than it is to like get them into custody.
We were struggling to stay off the ground.
Well, this was, I didn't want to go. I didn't get my uniform on this. My boots were ruined already because I'm like 10-month-old cat piss, like transferring onto my boots.
Yeah.
But we get this lady because she decided to start flailing in this chair that we're trying to handcuff.
This lady who had just committed a felony.
Sure.
Let's
she
not
forced
sugarcoat
entry
that.
and assaulted a lady, our neighbor. So we go and prone her out.
Yeah.
And we get both of her hands behind her, but we're literally holding like Bill and I are having some like romantic ghost moment where we're staring at each other, holding each of us have one of these ladies' wrists.
Yeah.
Get to like 400 pounds worth of man holding this lady down, holding this lady's wrist. This poor rookie goes, "I got bottom," and like immediately
We're
tries
like,
to get like hip control, and I literally let go with one of my hands.
she was gonna do the snake through the legs.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Oh,
like,
no.
Hey, dude, just cuff her. We literally did this because I didn't want to use my handcuffs because I didn't want to do this arrest.
It was her call. So.
And it was her call, but it was the same. I don't want to say that she was the McDonald's cop, but like, it was
At least she was a rookie.
That's true. At least she was a rookie, so it is what it is. Hey, what's going on, Kristen? It's good to see you. Michael got to see you. Michael, tell him about empty hand technique. I went and blew his mind. Him and I rolled around on my ground, and I showed him a thing or two, and it was life-changing for him.
Wow.
Anyways, Sean, I'm with you that I think that I really do believe that ASP training should be replaced with some variation of empty hand techniques, leverage-based techniques, specifically whether it's jujitsu or things of that nature. They should at least have an abbreviated version of what we had. Yeah. I'm all about it. Actually, Jesus, the cameraman. Hey, shout out to that cameraman there, because not only was he a great cameraman, like he was legit. He also was like, you know what? Bet I'm gonna help y'all.
He's
avenge
like
this guy.
2.5 minutes in. I guess I'll help.
Oh yeah. He's like, you know what? Y'all look like y'all are struggling.
Yeah.
And even I have seen this enough to take pity. That's something.
That's true.
I want to roll. Sean, you come down to Texas and I'll roll around with you.
Yeah. You might even
It's a
get
promise.
both of us.
Hey. Might have a threesome for rolling around.
Whoa. So these are clearly like part-time SWAT guys that retired and started a training company.
100%. Bro, look at these.
Take the area that he's not covering. We're going to get in that room as quickly as we could and stay out of that fatal funnel. Look something like this.
He's like, all right, bet. Wait, what? I'll pause right now.
It won't
How was the mood
pause.
striking you? How was the mood?
Here. Right there.
There's a term, and Sean will know a little something about this because he's in the Coast Guard. The term is nuts to butts. And that sounds weird to civilians, but the whole idea is if you're going to stack up on a wall and you want as little as possible, you're going to get as close as really chest to back is probably the more appropriate.
This is nose to nuts?
Yeah, so you're going to get right up on the person in front of you because the second they move, and your hands are both on your weapon like they're supposed to be, that you kind of move in unison. The second they like leave contact with you, you're right behind them. That's the whole point of especially when you're doing like a dynamic entry, right? And this is what they're demonstrating is a dynamic entry into it. What you're not going to do is this. What's going on,
How was
Sean?
the mood striking you
Yo.
now?
I'm not in the fucking Coast Guard.
Sean goes in there.
You came in just to say that?
I came in just
I
to
did.
say that. Yeah.
My wife looked at me and yeah, I had to say something.
I knew I'd get a rise out of him eventually. He screwed me up and over. That's gonna be our South Carolina joke for Sean. Is that he's in the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard. Hey, we're gonna watch this again and let Sean enjoy it.
Sean, give us your insights on this. That guy, nobody addresses like the clearly armed person.
Wait.
No.
What in the?
No, I don't think I will.
I take the area that he's not covering. We're going to get in that room as quickly as we could and stay out of that fatal funnel. Look something like this.
No, we're not gonna watch it again. I can't.
I love it so much.
I can't.
I've taught people through a 2-week academy how to like clear a room better than. What in the?
Did you like the dip and swim?
Michael got mad. He put north in the chat. So, anyways, so Sean, if I said, let's say you and I were having to clear a room, right? I said, Sean, I haven't looked in this room at all, and there might be an armed guy in there, so let's just run in there like psychos. You'd be down, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
You'd be like, oh yeah, bro. Hold on, let me sniff your butt before you go in. If Sean was the second person in the stack, and I told him that, and I ran in there, he'd be like, cool, bro. I guess I'm gonna go pick up your dead body.
Yeah.
I got a bullet sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the only way you're going into a room, especially like a dynamic entry like that, is it has to be like an active shooter or something crazy like that. You probably want a shield or something.
I'm gonna call in a barricaded subject and let SWAT come get him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my. Even smarter. Jesus, like you've done this one.
I'm gonna
more than
back
once.
out,
You know
like
what I mean?
perimeter wise. Like I'm backing out.
Sure. Well, and
I've
even
dealt with barricaded people once, and it was I'm not in that situation. I'm not doing it. I'm calling people with better shit, dude.
Well, and like, okay, so let's say like worst case scenario, right? Like you have like somebody in there like beating someone to death or something crazy. Like you are the exigencies there that you really like can't wait. Tell you what, you're gonna pie the hell out of the outside of that door.
So actually, what I've you duct tape. You put like a small piece of wood or something, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure. I got
inside the trigger to the OC, and then duct tape it and throw it in the room. They'll come out.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know where you were going with it, and I'm like way more impressed. I'm way more impressed. Now that being said, you have to depress the OC thing eventually, so that'd be kind of sketchy. But I guess you just throw your mask on.
Just poke a hole in it.
Well, like I had this one kid wouldn't come out of a room, so I just took the OC and sprayed it under the door.
That's
like the whole can.
That's genius. That's incredible. That's
wow. Why have I never done that?
We're teaching that class.
It's hilarious.
That's gonna be part of the repertoire.
We need to go back to policing for like a month.
Yeah,
and you don't.
It's interesting, but anyways, yeah, you're not gonna do that. And like, also the dumbest part about that, they like actually had a target in there.
I'm glad you saw that.
Both
they
of them,
ran
like,
right by it.
Super ignored them, got to their corners, and then like hung out.
Yeah.
And then looked, and were
the target that was like holding a woman hostage.
That like you could have like pied from like the outside of the structure. Like,
no, he just wanted to tickle his knee. Little tickle.
Like, I don't know, man. That was weird.
Tickle his knee.
You know what makes me more nervous about that is like it's more dangerous than dust, because at least dust is like, oh, if you're completely unarmed and in Detroit, this is the best chance you have at doing something stupid.
They look like they're teaching cops.
And like
yeah.
They're like, oh, if you got to go and make a dynamic entry to a room, here's the perfect way to do it.
I have the technique. It's called the tactical tickle.
I have clearly never put on a vest and a belt, and there's no way you're ducking like that. Hell no, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you guys should see the training that I went through for a strategic response team. These dudes have never. Yeah, it was like that.
I think that post came out of North Carolina. I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
the only qualified dude was a Army Reserve Ranger.
Oh, okay.
That was the only guy that was anywhere near qualified.
I will say this: I did have. It was the most like earth-shattering thing ever. And Bill wasn't in my group, but I had. He was a ranger, I think. Actually, was he a paramedic? Our classmate, Bill.
J-Hub?
Yes, J-Hub.
He was airborne.
He was airborne. So anyways, this man probably hurt more people in his life than I probably ever did. Or at the very least had real world experience doing like legit SOF shit, right? So he's a bad dude, right? So we're doing room clearing techniques, and we're learning from our full-time SWAT team in all of these different stations. These guys doing
some of our full-time SWAT team, and then some.
What I was getting at
other
is
people.
I go from learning from like a 15-year SWAT guy to the very next station I went to. It was like McDonald's cop.
Yeah.
Like she was the most useless bitch ever.
And she was a sergeant.
And she had the gall.
She was the
sergeant.
She was the sergeant, course leader of search tactics.
Yeah. And she had the nerve of trying to correct J-Hub here, who like has jumped out of helicopters and like
done it all, basically. Had like I think he had a 13-year SOF career.
Yeah.
Done it all.
And I'm like he's done this in foreign countries. You know what I mean? And this lady's like, well, I took an in-service PowerPoint that said it was the most like earth-shattering thing ever, and I was embarrassed to even be there. But what Sean's saying isn't too far from the reality of some situations. It was weird to experience both. Like I was like, oh, this person like kicks doors for a living, and this lady like is excited that she gets to be off the street for more time.
And it makes you lose respect.
100%.
Like fast.
It makes you nervous because like you'd get dispatched to an emergency call other side of town, not know the officer you were backing.
Yeah.
And you showed up and were like, okay, are you a McDonald's cop or are you like some bad dude? You know
well, and also she was contradicting what the SWAT guys are saying. So then it's like when you get on the street, whose advice are you going to take?
Well, and like who thought that she was like God's gift to law enforcement and is like that's their playbook for this situation? And you walk in there like a total fucking dweeb with basically a liability with you. It's like, hey, I'm going to donate some free ammunition and a gun to the person that's barricaded in this house.
So I have a field training
and
story.
a radio.
And a radio, yes.
One of our classmates was working on Southside with me one day in field training, PTO, whatever.
Yeah.
A phase. And we got called to a residential alarm, and we went and cleared the building, obviously. I had my gun out. She did not. We walked in through the back door. The guy who called thought he saw someone inside or something. He was super not well.
Sure.
He gave us the key to the back door. We went in the back door. We get into the kitchen, and this super loud audible alarm goes off. Our classmate, who had red hair, I'll let you figure out who it is, jumped into the air, turned, tried to run out the door, and ran directly into my corporal, who was behind her. And then we got back to the car, and he's like, so why'd you have your gun out? And I said, I was clearing an unknown house that just had a burglary alarm. He's like, good. And then he goes, she didn't have her gun out, and it was a good thing. And I said, why? He was like, she would have shot you directly in the back. And I was like, oh.
Or shot the corporal, yeah.
Maybe. Like,
I got to hear the radio traffic.
Hey, she's still a cop.
Well, I know. I got to hear the radio traffic from her when she made scene on an OIS on West Side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The one that we know?
It was the one that we know.
Yeah.
The one that we know. It was great. It was great. I was like, wow. I'm glad I'm not on.
I was also listening to that. I remember.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll keep going. We're gonna air it out now. We'll keep going.
So I want to preface this because I read some of these ridiculously idiotic comments. I even highlighted it here for you. Someone in this video says, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, and then nice, nice, nice. And it's not the cops.
Walmart cop?
Yeah. It's not the cops. It's someone who decided to help these officers.
Turn around. Ma'am, help me, please.
Can you grab this?
Help me, ma'am. Ma'am.
Okay, dude. Hey, dude, you're about to get punched, bro.
Oh, my leg.
Pause it.
My money, please.
Does that not sound like Sean for like half a second? You're about to get punched, bro. That totally sounded like
I thought that was Sean.
I'm helping. He's got a gun! He's got a gun! Shoot him!
Bang.
Shoot him. Nice.
I'm not even going to listen to that idiot.
Jesus, dude.
So he did have a gun, and he was trying to pull it out of his waistband.
I think he had a knife.
He had both.
Did he?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, free advice for my civilian friends out there. If a officer of the law comes and puts hands on you in America, and that's in another country, RIP, you're probably on your own. But at least in America, probably a good idea to like lawyer up and chill. Because if you don't lawyer up and chill, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
You're gonna be chilling.
You're chilling. You have a permanent chill. You will take the casket temperature challenge. And
Yeah. Yeah, they did like a police post talked about it again later. And he did have a knife, and he did have a gun, and it looked like he was reaching to pull it out.
Something else I kind of want to point out. It's hard to see with the body cam there, but if you guys go back, just go to fucking police posts. You'll see 90% of these posts or whatever. But having someone's wrist is different than having control of somebody.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and this is fucking ASP training, which ASP training is like designed to make you fail, I think.
Yeah.
But like the inclinations to grab for the wrist, because you're trying to handcuff him, right, or put him in a handcuff position, or you'll go for like a straight armbar like takedown, which is like can work sometimes. When you have like 3 officers grabbing at somebody, it's not going to work. That's kind of why, like, if you're going to go hands-on, like, be quick and violent about it, because the quicker you get them into control, the better off you are. I have handcuffed somebody and then found a gun on them afterwards, and that's a fucking feeling. But be quick about it. If you're out there, I don't think that these guys did anything wrong. This is a relatively large human being resisting. And he already kind of had his back to his wall anyway, like when they approached him.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a short stick. I don't think they necessarily did anything wrong per se.
No, but again, it's like 3 cops, 1 guy.
Yeah. Be quick about
Somebody's elbow couldn't have reached that dude's temple or something for a minute.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. This also goes into like the conversation about the VNR that's pretty much off the table for everybody at in law enforcement. The VNR, we used to VNR the shit out of each other in academy.
Yeah.
My very first in-service was still legal.
To make sure we were doing it right.
We would, go.
Not that we ever used it. But
it's a vascular neck restraint for those that the uninitiated, and it is where you take the of your jugular arteries and you cut them off. And that
not your breathing.
Not your breathing.
The blood flow.
That's a chokehold. We didn't do those. We weren't taught those. That's
super easy to fuck up in the moment, though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
sure,
that's
sure,
true.
sure. And again, like, if I'm getting to the point where I think I need a VNR guy, yeah, I'm probably putting a gun on this dude's temple, but it is.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, dude. I think. Shout out to Humanizing the Badge, by the way.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Everyone that watches this should go to this post on their page and read this and read some of the comments, and you'll get a sense of what's going on.
And part of me, like, now that I'm out, and I'm allowed to say this because I'm out now, but like,
Lucky.
if Sean's a you motherfucker,
we signed a contract, but it wasn't with the devil. So.
Exactly. But like,
I signed a contract literally with the devil.
I know. You're exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, you were legit in bed with the devil. But if this is the situation, right? So like, let's say I seek help and then they're going to suspend me or put me on leave or whatever it is. I would rather take the leave time because it buys me time to apply for other departments. And
yeah,
if you're in that bad of a situation, mentally speaking, and your department's that fucked, the one thing you don't want to be doing is getting into uses of force. It's really what you don't want. I know this is like a real in Sean, you're allowed to advocate for the people that are still out there kicking ass and taking names. But being on the back end of it, dude, the amount of baggage we have now that we repress the shit out of while we're like, you don't realize how bad your mental health is until you're out. Don't have to shelf it because you want to be able to pay your bills and take care of your kids and shit. Like, there is a real part of you that you're giving up, and I think veterans are experiencing the same thing. You know, I think ER nurses are probably experiencing the same thing. There's a very real part of you that you are giving up that they're not paying you enough for. We talked about it, but like not having trust issues, and again, like, it's hard for me to look at kids at a certain age without thinking about them dying and shit like that, or you know, not being able to trust people. There was the first day and a half that Michael was here, I had a plan to kill him the whole time. I was fully prepared to kill Michael the whole time he was here. And then like by the second day, I was like, okay, he seems pretty cool. I can chill a little.
He didn't have any empty hand skills. He couldn't have killed you.
That's probably true. But
I've got a pretty shit story about this whole post right there.
Go for it. I'm here for it.
So I was in a pretty fucking rough patch, right?
Sean, why don't you explain what you do first?
Yes.
What do you mean?
So they don't take my word for it and think you're in the Coast Guard.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, so I'm in a very small military police department.
There you go.
Right.
I just want to make that. I just want people to know that point.
Yeah. It's a mix between civilian DoD guys and active duty law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was in a pretty rough patch, and the 17 guys that I work with all decided to go behind my back and talk shit, and then somehow word got past my chain of command into our regional chain of command.
Ooh.
For like the entire Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
Navy.
Sure.
So we're talking about some like high dudes that make what the three of us would have made on the street, like
collectively,
more than that.
Yeah.
So, because like due to the posse comitatus shit, like we have to download our weapons and leave them on base.
Sure.
So like I go in to arm up one morning and I got pulled aside because some regional guy called my chain of command wanting to know if I was going to kill myself.
Jesus.
And like nobody that I worked with decided to, pull me aside and see what was up or anything. They just decided to go straight like as high as they possibly could.
Sure.
So like
to try and wash their hands of it.
Yeah, and now like we're like 7-8 months past that situation. And I'm just now getting into counseling, but my work insurance isn't covering counseling, so I have to get grants.
Sure.
So like they literally make it so impossible to trust the people that you work with, and then to get help for it.
Well, and I'll get back. This kind of goes back to the point about like fucking emotional maturity, and like how do you as a P1, and I'm talking about the people that Sean's like talking about, not think to yourself, well, fuck, if that was me, you know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that fucking going down like that. You know what I mean? We had the in-service that I had, we talked about at what point do you disarm an officer if you think they're a danger to themselves?
Yeah.
And I was like, we all kind of sat around and kicked the can, and there was 17, I think the most senior person there was thinking like an 18-year guy. At the time, I was like a 3-year guy. And I was like, never, unless they're actively about to do it. And they kind of looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, well, you might as well fucking shoot him yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's the moment we decide, because I don't trust him with it, right? You know what I mean? I was like, if you've had a hard experience in life and have been in law enforcement, you've been there at one. Your Glock looks tasty at a certain point. You start to wonder the flavor of the front side of your Glock. I get it.
It's probably oily.
But like, sure, probably oily. Mine was very carbon filled because I practiced. But
I've actually had to do that to 4, 5 people.
Sure.
I've had to download them, like physically take their weapons and all of the stuff, and throw them in handcuffs, pick them up, and take them to get seen.
Jesus.
Yeah,
and
it's not.
Rough.
It's hard.
Shitty. That's a hard, shitty situation to be in. But like, you did it.
Yeah.
Not some senior lieutenant somewhere, not some shrink somewhere. Like, you sat there and said, "Hey, I'm going to take the onus of responsibility and be there for somebody else that should trust me." I mean, we go into life or death situations all the time.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? What's the difference here?
And I literally had to threaten that I would kill them.
Sure.
Right then and there.
Yeah.
Well, and like it's got to be so brain fucky to people coming outside, like on the outside looking in on that situation. Like, that's a normal thing. How many times have you done that to civilians? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so really, what's the difference in between a cop that's in crisis? And I think that there is a very weird, shitty, people like to throw the term like toxic masculinity out there. I think there's like a toxic, we have to do violent things for a living, culture that they think that you not being well means you can't do the job. And I was like, no, you not being well might be that your situation just happens to be harder. Because it's not just the job. It's bills, it's fucking life shit. Maybe your the stripper girlfriend that you got didn't work out or whatever, and it's getting more complicated.
Yeah, but nobody wants to talk about
shit.
You have to show up, do this job, put all of your problems on the back burner while you solve everyone else's problems.
Yeah.
Like it's normal shit, and then you pile the city's problems on top of it.
Yeah.
Well, and like kind of again, like there's a bit of hopelessness in trying to fix a lot of those problems, because like again, you'll arrest the same person like 10 times.
Yep.
Or you'll see domestic violence, it just like never gets fucking solved. I had a lesbian couple that I legit arrested both parties like 4 times a piece. There was one time I took them both because it was getting out of hand, and I had them CT'd from like every apartment comp. Basically, they got to a point where they couldn't get an apartment in Arlington because I had to arrest them so many times. I was like, y'all need to chill. And nothing was going to happen. I was like, eventually they're going to be throwing each other out of windows and hitting each other with cars and whatever. I don't know. It's a lot more complex than I think people make it out to be. And it escalates to the point where what Sean's talking about, where either it's shitty on both sides of the fence, because there's now the burden that Sean had to experience in trying to help another officer, to the point where he had to threaten to kill him, or kill them. And then on the flip side, feeling so alienated by the people around you that you are afraid to seek help. So it escalates to the point where it gets to that. Like, how do you win there? Like what's the? And so I think a lot of, and we'll have like a dedicated podcast where we talk about this. Juan has talked about trying to get like a psychologist on here, and they can say the more politically correct and intelligent and academically driven things.
Yeah.
I think there's a real conversation for like how fucked mental health, and not like, oh, we need help. It's like, no, it should just be easier to get it, and there shouldn't really be the stigmas around, like,
especially if you're going to do a job where the job is literally going to ruin your mental health.
Dude, it's easier for me to get pills than to just see a fucking counselor.
I believe that.
And what's weird about it is, and everyone's a little different, and everyone's situation is a little different, but I guarantee you, if I had a normal cycle, regardless of how your fucking mental health was doing, but if I had a normal cycle where I said you've been in X amount of critical incidences, or you've been in X amount of use of force, and you've worked for X amount of time, regardless of how you're feeling, you're going to have mental health days. I'm going to cycle you off, and you're going to go to like a 2 to 5 work schedule. So you'll do 2 days on, 5 days off, or whatever the fuck it is. And you'll have some people that have to work more because they just got off of this Gucci ass, time on, or whatever. That I guarantee you're still going to experience stress. I think if you're listening to this, and you're a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young person, and you want to get into law enforcement, you are going to lose part of yourself, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, to this job. There is a bill to be paid to do the job, and especially to do the job well. I think if you're doing the job really well, you're hurting yourself almost more.
Yeah.
To be honest, everything else in your life suffers for it. And it's not like a secret. I used to fucking hate. I resent now some of the senior officers. You'd get like some fucking deputy chief that would come in and be like, "This is the greatest show on earth. This is the funnest job you'll ever have."
It's a pretty good impression.
I know. You know exactly.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
But it fails to mention, like, oh yeah, you're gonna get bits of suicidality, and you're gonna, you know what I mean? You're not gonna sleep ever. There was like 2 straight years where I never slept more than an hour or 2 at a time. Like, no matter what, I could be thoroughly exhausted, and the amount of stress that we experience on a daily basis made it to where I was in constant fight or flight. I didn't know it, I just thought, man, I drink too much caffeine.
And we did.
And we did, which doesn't help either. But like, I don't know, like Sean's situation, as fucked as it might sound from the outside looking in, is very normal.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but it is super fucking normal.
Yep.
To be in his situation where it's like, damn. And again, to have experienced having to disarm somebody, having to step
scary.
in. That's what I mean. That's
because these people know how to kill people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bro.
So it's like, dude, I'll disarm some Signal 20 dude, but like my buddy.
Yeah. And if he's already at that point, like, bro, you don't know what's the limit then?
Yeah. Or even you look at something like, you get a guy that you got blown up in Afghanistan or some shit. I can't tell you how many times. Stafford and I took a guy that he just randomly was running. He went to a Cowboys game, and he was randomly roaming around the fucking street, and he walked like 17 or 18 miles, something crazy like that. And everyone was looking for him, and we ended up having to go hands-on with the guy. And right as the cuffs went on, he like fucking went berserk and lost it. Unfortunately, we got the cuffs on, and this dude had knives on him. I was like, wow, that could have gone super fucking sideways. And this is someone that could hurt me, like not like some Chad that's high. Like, this is a man that very much hurt people for a living for a while, way more than I do. That's scary. And that guy was super, like, again, Sig 20 as we called him, but he was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But again, they'll throw you a fucking pill bottle and say you're good, and then God forbid trying to pay for all that shit. And if you don't, you just, again, you end up like, again, most of the, I think I personally handled, I think it's somewhere in the tune of like 10 successful suicides. And fortunately, none of them were in law enforcement, but like, and like, I didn't know any of these people, but that is a hard burden to walk in on. Even fucking fatal car accidents suck.
Yeah. Had a lot of those.
Heck, fucking just traumatic injuries. You'll get just some people that we watched a guy, who was it? One of our classmates. There's a construction worker fell into a damn cement mixer. And
blended,
I do remember literally that. Blended. It was the wildest thing ever.
Yeah.
It's not normal. We're not really good, healthy human beings aren't meant to see that kind of stuff every day and be okay. And if you were to ask like a clinical psychologist, how much therapy you think this person needs, it'd be like, oh, fucking lot. It'd be like once weekly, for a few years.
For the rest of their life.
Sean, how much counseling have you? You don't have to completely out yourself, but if you had a percentage, right, of the amount of counseling you think you probably need and how much you've actually received, where do you think you're at on that?
Oh shit, dude. I have to apply to get a grant to see a counselor, so I can tell you that I have received no counseling.
There it is.
But I need all of it.
That's
Dude, it was easier for me to see a psychiatrist and get pills than to see a counselor.
And honestly, when you look at, and this is a lot of times where you see this, it's super fucking common in the veteran community, but it is so much easier to get a fucking handle of whiskey, and
that's real easy.
You know what I'm saying? Versus, and affording it too, versus getting counseling.
Yeah.
And not like just like a shrink, but also like exercising through coping mechanisms. Because you'll go there, you'll go see, the psychologist, and they'll give you all these fucking exercises you got to go do to like make yourself feel better, and not feel better, but cope and learn how to cope, and things to fucking recognize, and they give you fucking homework and all this shit. But then you need like time and space to even do it. And they're like, too fucking bad, Sean. We're fucking short staffed, so you gotta work 60 hours this week. You're like, cool. Even if I manage to afford this bullshit, you're not affording me the time like to actually decompress. Or like we were doing the fuck was it, End of Watch.
Yeah.
And you just watched a fellow officer get stabbed in the face and the other one get beat half to death. You got into a use of force yourself, and it's like the first 2 hours of your shift.
Yeah.
Go back to work.
There's a pile of your buddies sitting in the street, and you got to go to work the next day.
Yep.
Sure. Like it's a fuck.
Get back to work.
A mentally fucked place that people really don't fully understand. If they've never been there. And like I said, I think a lot of people, a kid experiencing social anxiety and somebody experiencing PTSD is a very different thing. I'm not going to say that there's plenty of studies that will say the brain thinks it's the same or whatever, and everyone's pain is equitable in some way, shape, or form. But I'm like, nah.
Being scared to talk to people and then walking into your buddy with his brains on the floor is kind of different.
That's what I'm getting at. Is it may be subjective and it might sound shitty, but for someone that has had to personally experience that, and for having friends and very close, coworkers and stuff like that have experienced that firsthand. Maybe I'm the shitty asshole in the Reddit sub chat, but I will come out and say it's very different. And they do not talk about it enough. It is not on any of the fucking recruiting material. It's not on any of the, and it is probably more so than just the way that they treat like all the stupid administrative stuff. It is the most callous thing that is currently occurring in law enforcement, as far as just never giving them space to decompress, or never, like, if you get into an officer involved shooting, it's like, oh cool, you'll get 3 days off. And it's like, I just killed a human being.
Yeah. You'll get 3 days off, but you better be ready to recount this several times.
Well, in what study?
You're not allowed to see the body cam footage before you go to court.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, but like in my personal opinion, like who came up with the 3-day rule for that? Like what study did they go to? Oh, I think 3 days would be good.
Some shithead that's never been in IS.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's standard practice. Or like who like is it any different for me to have to go walk in? I might not have to shoot anybody. But even just to get into the use of force. Even to feel like I was going to do it. I remember every single time I ever pulled the slack out of my Glock, I still remember what it looks like. I remember exactly what it looked like. What the person's face looked like, what it smelled like, whatever. And then I had to read a damn book to realize, oh shit, this acute memorization of details is, this is an acute stressor. You are remembering a very acute, and I'm talking like people breaking legs and childbirth and shit like that. Yeah. It takes something that traumatic for you to remember. It's a fascinating topic that a bunch of people don't.
There needs to be an asterisk on like recruiting bulletins, like, oh, we offer take-home cars, but there's a 40% chance that you'll kill yourself inside one.
Seriously though, we offer 5th gen.
Yeah,
blocks.
Let's be real.
Yeah, they have better triggers.
The tastiest.
So that,
they taste great to eat.
Our duty rounds leave good tasting carbon in the barrel.
Yeah.
Only takes one suck to start.
What is it? I saw, not to get too terribly dark before we get super demonetized, but there's a TikTok where it's like, I'm going to show you how to paint a ceiling.
Oh, God.
And all you hear is like, shh, and I was like, why did I get that immediately? Because you look at the comments, they're like, I don't get it. And I was like, man. I was like...
You're like, well, we can tell who's never worked a day of law enforcement in their life in this chat.
What? And honestly, like, shout out to... There's a lot of counselors that'll specialize in PTSD.
Yeah. Well,
and, like, shout out to them. No, legitimately. Like,
a lot of people that need that specialization.
Sure. But, like, the guys that are out there seeking out, or the counselors that are out there seeking out people that, like, that's a lot to unpack. Like, that is a lot to unpack. And it's super hard to sit there and explain to somebody. Like, I'm very proud of the job I did, but it's probably the biggest regret I've ever had in my life. Like, I've had some weird, shitty ex-girlfriends that I would date again, rather than have to re-experience some level of that trauma. That's a weird thing to unpack. But again, like, I will never not be proud that I was willing to go there and do that. It's a weird headspace. Anyways, I'm gonna make sure before it gets too terribly dark again. Producer Juan saying he's got a handle of whiskey right now. Shout out to Juan.
I don't think it's for depression though.
No, I think he's having a good time. He's having a good time because we're doing good here in Omicron.
He's coming up to Pine. North intersection should be right in here, heading to the north.
Yep. Oh, shout out to Tulsa police.
Yes. Yeah, the guy's definitely on a bike. See what he's wearing? All dark. Yes, that's him.
6520 West Charles Page.
Hoodie.
This is actually how dope a helicopter is.
It's pretty awesome. They're like...
Rock on, buddy. Police one. I got a guy in a black hoodie on a bike, northbound from Pine on Birmingham.
This subject says that he went eastbound on Pine.
Alright, this guy's on North Birmingham Place from Pine, continuing north. All black, riding a bike.
Just came south out of the neighborhood by the...
And he came from south of Pine by the elementary school.
Gun officer just turned on the street. He's headed north now.
Alright, the officer just turned north on Birmingham Place. He's about, he's not too far north of you.
Right underneath the light.
Yeah, he's right in front of you.
Okay, so it looks like he's gonna fail to yield here.
That's one way to describe it. Failed to
yield. Just sitting there waiting on him.
Okay, he's continuing to fail to yield. Dropping his license.
You don't say.
12 miles an hour. We are. Oh, he just
12 miles an hour. He's pumping, dude.
He's working it. Yeah.
Stop or you're gonna get shot! Hey, I'm gonna shoot you!
Yeah, we can't say that anymore.
To be fair, he just committed armed robbery. So.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
That's where that conversation's coming from.
Yeah, but
okay.
Sean works for the devil, so he's not allowed to say that.
Yeah, well.
There's like a case about that.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to find it.
Oh, shout out. We'll get the case law here.
That Euro siren gets me wet.
Stop or you're gonna
Yeah,
shoot!
no kidding.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Show me your fucking hand! Show me your hand! Gun! Show me your hand! Shots fired!
God damn.
Hey, man.
I mean,
What did that one sheriff say? Well, you can't
shoot dead evil enough, I think.
Whatever. Some shit.
Yeah.
I think it was like Palm Beach County or something like that.
Yeah.
Palm Beach. That sounds about right. Somewhere down there in Florida.
Yeah. So.
Shout out to the genius here that stayed in his car. My guy. He gets it.
Yeah.
Now, were they riding two-man? And that's why one of them got out and one of them didn't? Or what?
There was like 4 separate cameras, so I don't know. There was like 3 cars.
Anyways, like, bro, what an absolute stud. He's like, bro, I ain't running. Fuck that. It's cold outside. Like,
yeah. Yeah. The snow on the ground? No, thank you.
Yeah. That also being said, and again, this is a note to civilians out there. If there's someone behind you It's identifying themselves as law enforcement. You hear the wee, woo, wee, all that kind of good stuff. Then you like turn around and make visual confirmation. Oh, there's a guy like in a uniform, like fully uniform kind of person. Says like, hey, stop if we're gonna shoot you. He stopped, which shout out to him for complying finally after running for a bit. But yeah, pulling out a gun's a bad idea. It generally
usually gets you that result.
Generally gonna earn some free piercings from the city. Yeah, I don't feel bad for that guy.
No.
There's some that are closer or like harder to think about or whatever, but he still had the balaclava or whatever on.
Ski
like,
mask.
Robbing the bank. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
God.
So.
Don't rob banks. You're lucky this wasn't in Texas, or the freaking store clerk would have shot you. You wouldn't even made it to the police.
Yeah.
You know what? That's probably why you don't see a lot of these stories in Texas.
Armed robberies.
Because civilians handle you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We had
dope rips.
We had one in our city. That guy that walked into that restaurant and
that's right.
An illegally armed civilian shot him because that was a bar and he should not have been carrying a gun in there. But thank God he was.
They didn't prosecute, did they, on that?
I don't think so.
Is it in our city?
South side.
You know what? There was a pretty cool commander there probably that was like, nah, fuck that, whatever.
It was not too long before we started.
Yeah.
And that
I'd be curious.
That said bar had some cartel connections. So.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck around and find out in Texas, boys.
Yeah. That's loud. Jeez.
You know if this is copywritten music?
I don't know.
A woman screaming in La Crosse, Wisconsin. A second caller stated a female walked outside from
La Crosse, Wisconsin again.
And appeared upset.
Again.
When an officer arrived on the scene, he recognized the 21-year-old male from previous contacts, Devin Knapp.
Oh, bro, you can't walk on a red hand.
All I saw was that the girl came out of the apartment. Her face was all bloody here. Yeah. Blood on her hands.
When Devin exited from the apartment, he noticed the officer and attempted to quickly push the female back into the apartment. When the officer tried to make contact, he started walking away, then fled on foot.
Oh.
Right there.
Oh. 94, contact with 2. What's going on? Come over here. Over here. Do you have your ID with you?
She said here.
You're not free to leave.
I didn't do anything.
You're not free to leave.
Why? I didn't do anything.
94, suspects resisting.
Pause it. Not gonna lie, I'd have been perfectly okay with a use of force here as far as drawing down on that guy, to be 100% honest. I know it sounds weird, but if you see somebody bloody, the way they described this chick afterwards, I skipped past this. I didn't realize he got the body cam actually caught their contact. But do you got somebody bleeding like that and you realize it's probably domestic or whatever, like, and this ended up being a felony domestic. I think it was strangulation. But yeah, I didn't draw down on that guy. That being said, I am glad the pooch didn't have to be involved in this.
Yeah.
Glad to let go of that.
My blood pressure went up a little bit. So.
94, foot pursuit, headed westbound, 300 Pearl.
Oh my guy. He's running.
Ooh.
He's running.
The female victim told officers that Devin had initiated an argument and called her
Yeah, when you see the body cam bounce like that, that's a
and
sprint.
restricted her breathing for several seconds.
Yeah.
He also
Strangulation.
then kicked her in the head and struck
Ooh.
her with a closed fist.
Why are you chasing me?
My God. Dominated.
That was
Look at
good.
that.
That was good.
Hold on. You won't even tell me.
Pause it.
Face.
Did you see how he pushed his face down?
Yeah.
This man's been spit at before. This man has totally been spit at before.
Well, they know this kid too.
Old man knows how to get down there. You get spit on once, and you treat pretty much everybody you have to go hands on with like that.
Yeah.
I'd been spit on 3 times on patrol.
Yeah.
After the first time, and again, they can still kind of sneak. Shout out to this guy. He just straight up T2'd that dude.
Yeah.
And then went hands on, and he immediately got mount here, so that's pretty impressive, actually.
Hands behind your back. What's going on? 94, I got him on the ground. 200 Pearl. What's going on?
That absolutely dominated.
You're under arrest! Quiet! For what? For what?
Pause real quick. So you see how this guy's got his thumb in his palm here? I'm just going to give a quick word of advice. I'm still digging this officer here. That is a good way to get your thumb broken. I think this guy's complying now that he realizes he's got a man touching him. But be very careful with this. That is not a terribly secure way of holding somebody's hand.
Once he realized he wasn't fast enough, I think.
Well, I also like that the guy was very quick. Here's where, like, again, a quick escalation of force is a good way to de-escalate, because now this guy's no longer fighting and fleeing. But I just would be very leery of getting any part of your body into people's palms, because that's how they can grab you and hurt you. We'll keep going.
For what? Well, I investigate a domestic dispute.
When the female attempted to use her phone to call for help, Devin grabbed it and said, "You are not calling the cops." The female left the apartment and asked a person on the street to call her mother, but instead they called the police.
Thank you.
That's such a common domestic, too.
Oh, yeah.
You catch me, I was leaving. Can I stand up?
He was leaving. He double locked it? My God.
After Devin was handcuffed,
shout out to the guy turning the siren off.
Dude, he
was uncooperative when police attempted to search him and spit on an officer when they tried to place him in the squad car. Later on, he also spit on a jailer when he was turned over to jail staff.
So they knew.
94. What's going Female on? Victim still in front of incident location.
But where's the dog?
Try to find the female.
I think they lost the dog.
Right in front of, She attacked me, I ran. I don't know why you're chasing me, so I ran.
She attacked me.
I'm scared of cops. I don't know what you wanted. What? Okay.
Imagine having such shitty admin to where you think about putting a mask on in the middle of
outside.
Does it? Sean just gave me PTSD because it's totally a thing.
Yeah.
I speak from experience.
I cannot tell you how many times I've been mid-use of force and verbalized something that I knew would keep me like kosher with Geos.
It's true.
Sean, you struck a chord with me. This is how it feels to be on the other side of the fence. Fuck, man. Sean found where he could hurt me.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I can stand if I want.
Yeah, I'm not caving my girlfriend's face in anymore, so I'm not doing anything wrong now.
Got a bracelet. Yeah, that dog that's barking is his. He had the dog when he took off.
That dog barking fine.
There's a yellow lab running around somewhere on a leash.
No, my dog's barking.
My dog was barking back there. Well, you let your dog go. I hope it returns. I didn't let my dog go.
I don't.
Charged him with aggravated assault because he had a dog.
Animal cruelty, dude.
Yeah. I was about to say, animal in Texas, baby.
Sir, why are you chasing me? Sir, why were you chasing me? Stop it. Just listen. Unlock the car here. Let's go with the program. What program? Right here. This is the program right here. Devin Knapp. Devin Knapp. You guys just target me for no reason.
Pause it again.
Be cool, man.
You notice that they're totally dominating this dude's body position here? He is firmly pressed against this car. They're controlling
Firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it. This is how you transport a combative person, and not what McDonald's cop was doing earlier in this podcast.
It's also how you handle a person by yourself.
So like.
Well, it's lacrosse police, dude. They know what they're doing.
Clearly.
What I'm getting at is like, because you got to think about like how much this guy is resisting, right?
Yeah.
But he's being handled, and so it's an easier way to make it literally safer. I know it seems counterintuitive, but that makes it safer for the suspect, but also makes it way safer for you, and takes the stress off of you.
Also, no one's gonna watch this and listen to this little shitbag and be like, "Oh, they need to be nicer to him."
Sure. Well, and notice again, there wasn't a single baton used here. There wasn't a single kick thrown. There wasn't a single punch thrown.
He never pulled his taser.
He even threatened the taser.
What's the taser gonna do? He's wearing a jacket.
Exactly.
That's when a baton comes in.
Oh God! Quit it, Sean.
Where's my dog? Dude, where's my dog? Hold on, where's my dog? Where's my dog? We'll let you know.
You let it go.
Where's my dog? Hold on, Just let me add.
This is the worst part of putting someone in a car.
Yep.
Here.
Oof.
An interesting line.
Someone call ATF to get that dog taken care of.
Yes.
Whoops. Well, that video's gone. So.
Well, anyways,
It's fine.
so I believe they end up taking him to jail, and he ends up spitting on people. There.
Yeah, that's
And I
what the
think
video said. He spit on the
officer
jailer.
there.
He spit twice in the back of that car.
Extra piece of shit.
And then you saw the cop just lift his legs and shove him back and said, "Well, you're not getting buckled."
He's a quitter.
So
Quitter.
that's it for me.
Oh, did we get this one in the upper right-hand corner?
Yeah.
We did that one?
This?
Yeah.
That was the guy who took the dude hostage.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
If you have any other law enforcement related questions while I give my ending spiel, I can do that. Sean, do you have anything for us?
I don't think so.
Juan said justice for the dog. I agree. That dog needs a new home.
100%, dude.
Sure, the ATF gave justice.
Jesus.
You better stop it.
So, anyways, what did we learn today, boys and girls? A police post is awesome, and you guys should totally follow
The
it.
best.
But yeah, there's no.
Code Blue Cam's the shit too.
Yeah, they are good on YouTube.
Yeah.
Very good on YouTube.
Shout out to them as well. No amount of tools fixes not having empty hand skills. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, there is and I don't know how long it's gonna take for like Elon and these motherfuckers to make. They can do this for us eventually, but like the act of having to put someone in a handcuffing position and control them while they're flailing, there's no tool that does that. Not a single one. You have to have those skills as an individual, and it's like 90% of the job.
I mean, you've seen iRobot.
Exactly. Yeah, they got to get to that level of shit, and that stuff's hard. So, I don't know, man. This is why we're kind of slowly starting to advocate for trying to get some free training out there. It's a little pet project that we're starting to work on. I think it's super important. I think if you're a jiu-jitsu gym, if you're a sambo gym, any of those types of fighting styles, whatever, and you got
Krav Maga.
Yeah, or maybe not Krav Maga. But if you have some floor space, I don't know, offer discounts to cops, dude, or something, and do something, because they need all the help they can get, unfortunately. And if you're these police departments, if you're not going to help us with mental health and you're not going to help us with that stuff, at least give us the fucking training to make the job a bit safer. Because it is cheaper than having to pay out our life insurance.
If they
pay it, yeah.
I was about to say, that's a big if.
Big if.
That being said, like I said, get some training, do all that stuff. If you like what you're seeing and you enjoy our podcast that we do twice a week or once a week, and then we do a let's play once a week, think about commenting, and subscribing. If you guys have like our YouTube stuff, go check us out on Instagram. We post there periodically for news, and we have a TikTok where I put a bunch of stupid skits on there about admin, basically talk shit. We
That's
do
about
have
right.
some. The next week will be a very full. We have 3 shoot days.
Yep.
Next week, Tuesday will be a legit only cops ready or not thing. Producer Juan's getting kicked out
With actual he's not saying only cops as in us. It's only cops playing the game.
Yeah. So Chris the cop has invited us to go play Ready or Not with him and his people. So Bill and I were invited at least. So we're gonna go play and we'll live stream that for you guys so you guys can watch.
It's like that, huh?
I said Bill and I.
Yeah, I heard the way you said it.
I said Bill and I.
I'm not
What
talking
did I
about
say?
me.
Oh, you're
talking about
everybody
poor
else.
producer Juan.
Yeah, producer Juan. He's like, hey, work really hard and edit all the shit, but fuck you, we get to go play something. But everybody put a little baby Jesus in the chat.
Probably just this time. I don't think it'll be like that every time.
So anyways, go check that out. We will have our Thursday podcast like we normally do. And then on Saturday, we have also been invited again to Coffee in the Cop. So go be ready to check that stuff out. We'll probably put some stuff on our socials to give you guys some links. So go check them out. They were really cool to let us come back.
Yeah, if you didn't catch the first one, you should definitely go watch that.
we had some good conversations there, and we have some other stuff that's in the work. Like I said, if you really like our content and want to contribute to the bigger narrative of making policing better, become part of our Patreon group. It's as little as $1 a month, and that gives you access to our Discord. So, like Sean, you can pop in here and talk shit with us.
Yeah, be just like Sean.
Yeah,
you can show up.
Yeah, this is how we kind of plan our content. This is how we kind of organize our thoughts on what we're interested in doing. And I mean, effectively, they're contributing more. I'm not gonna say it's any more or less valuable than a like, comment, or subscribe, but it is the only really direct way to affect our content, and it gives you a lot more access to us.
And there's Patreon only content as well.
Yes, that list will be growing soon because we have the church pews and things like that we'll be talking about.
Yes.
That most social media platforms are not terribly
the most efficient, the comfiest, the most well-built church pews.
Yes, the sturdiest church pews. Yep. So we're gonna have some of that stuff. We have some scripting that we're doing for some of the stuff that we're considering filming, and then currently we're really talking about the closest big idea that we have is we're looking at getting some IFAKs. Which is an individual first aid kit for those that are uninitiated, and hopefully some training for some current law enforcement officers so that they can be better lifesavers, not just for themselves but for other people. So if you guys like that kind of stuff and want to get involved, like I said, join our Patreon. It's the best way to contribute, and then follow us on all our socials. Share it to people that you think are dumb and need to be educated in a way that's most of the time pretty polite. I have decided to serve those that serve us by trying to give them a voice that because IA can't touch me anymore.
That's right.
So, we can say some.
You're gonna have to try and bring those alphabet agencies at us now.
Yes.
Suckers.
I'm good at that.
Sean's like, is that a challenge? Yeah, you can't say. So, anyways. Thank you, Bill, again for curating this wonderful content for us and finding it for us and hosting this in your very sexy man cave. Thank you, Sean, for stopping by and hanging out with us. Retro was in here periodically. He didn't say anything, but he talked to us in the chat. Producer Juan confirmed my crazy ex-girlfriends, and he did actually help me pick up my. He literally was like, "Hey, you should go."
That one.
And I married her.
That one right there.
There's a funny story for that. One of those days I'll give that story. Shout out to Michael for being here in the chat and defending whatever Carolina he's from again.
East.
I think it's East Carolina.
Both are irrelevant.
Well, if they can't even make up the mind like North and South, if you can't just be one, then.
Kristen, I appreciate you being in the chat as well. And again, you were still winning at the internet with your Badge Bunny 2021.
It's true.
Tag. Brian Porter, shout out. I've seen him in a couple of our things here, which is pretty awesome. So I'm glad you stopped by the chat.
Boom made it.
Boom. Where's Boom?
Boom's in there.
Oh, I didn't see his little comment.
Boom always makes it.
Shout out to Boom. He was here during the Phasmophobia days, man.
Such a wholesome dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
That's right.
So go check out all the other stuff that we do. We break these things down twice a week, or once a week, and then we will be doing a Let's Plays earlier. So I appreciate everybody that came out and supported us. And until next time, peace.